Part 5. Letting Go of the Past. The planet is becoming conscious as a whole. It is becoming self-conscious. Chapter 14. Change and Transition. Some people would rather leave the planet than change. Change is usually what we want the other person to do, isn't it? When I speak about the other person, I want to include the government, big business, the boss or co-worker, the Internal Revenue Service, foreigners, the school, husband, wife, mother, father, children, etc. Anyone other than ourselves. We don't want to change, but we want everyone else to change so our lives will be different. And yet, of course, any changes that we are going to make at all have to come from within ourselves. Change means that we free ourselves from feelings of isolation, separation, loneliness, anger, fear, and pain. We create lives filled with wonderful peacefulness, where we can relax and enjoy life as it comes to us, where we know that everything will be all right. I like to use the premise that life is wonderful, all is perfect in my world, and I always move into greater good. In that way, it doesn't matter to me which direction my life takes, because I know it's going to be wonderful. Therefore, I can enjoy all sorts of situations and circumstances. Someone at one of my lectures was going through a lot of turmoil, and the word pain kept coming up in the conversation. She asked me if there was another word she could use, and I thought about the time I'd smashed my finger by slamming a window on it. I knew if I gave in to the pain, I was going to go through a very difficult period. So when it happened, I started to do some mental work right away and referred to my finger as having a lot of sensation. By viewing what happened in that particular way, I think it helped to heal the finger much more quickly and to handle what could have been a very unpleasant experience. Sometimes if we can alter our thinking a little bit, we can completely change a situation. Can you think of change as an inner house cleaning? If you do a little bit at a time, it will eventually all get done. You don't have to do it all, however, before you begin to see results. If you change just a little bit, you'll begin to feel better soon. I was at the Reverend O.C. Smith's City of Angels Science of Mind Church on New Year's Day, and he said something that made me think. He said, "It's the new year, but you've got to realize that the new year is not going to change you. Just because it's a new year, it's not going to make any difference in your life. The only way there's going to be a change is if you are willing to go within and make the change." And that's so true. People make all sorts of New Year's resolutions, but because they don't make any internal changes, the resolutions fall away very quickly. "I'm not going to smoke another cigarette," or whatever, someone says. And right away it's put in a negative phrase rather than one that will tell the subconscious mind what to do. In this situation, you could say instead, "All desire for cigarettes has left me and I am free." Until we make the inner changes, until we are willing to do the mental work, nothing outside of us is going to change. Yet the inner changes can be so incredibly simple because the only thing we really need to change is our thoughts. What can you do for yourself this year that you didn't do last year that could be positive? Take a moment and think about this question. What would you like to let go of this year that you clung to so tightly last year? What would you like to change in your life? And are you willing to do it? There is a lot of information available that will give you ideas once you are willing to change. The moment you are willing to change, it is remarkable how the universe begins to help you. It brings you what you need. It could be a book, a tape, a teacher, or even a friend making a passing remark that suddenly has deep meaning to you. Sometimes conditions will get worse before they get better, and that's okay, because the process is beginning. The old threads are untangling, so flow with it. Don't panic and think it's not working. Just keep working with your affirmations and the new beliefs you are planting. Making progress. Of course, from the moment you decide to make a change until you get the demonstration, there is a transitional period. You vacillate between the old and the new. You go back and forth between what was and what you would like to be or have. It is a normal and natural process. Often I hear people saying, "Well, I know all this stuff." And my answer is, are you doing it? Knowing what to do and doing it are two separate steps. It takes time until you are strong in the new and have gone the complete shift. Until then, you must be consistent in your efforts to change. For instance, many people say their affirmations maybe 3 times and give up. Then they say that affirmations don't work, or they're silly, or whatever. We want to give ourselves time to practice to make the changes. Change requires action. As I said, it's what you do after you say your affirmations that counts the most. As you go through this transitional phase, remember to praise yourself for each small step forward that you make. If you beat yourself up for the step backward, then change becomes oppressive. Use all the tools available to you as you move from the old to the new. Assure the little child inside that he or she is safe. Author Gerald Jampolsky says that love is letting go of fear, and that there is either fear or there is love. If we are not coming from the loving space of the heart, then we're in fear. And all those states, such as isolation, separation, anger, guilt, and loneliness, are part of the fear syndrome. We want to move from fear into love and make love a more permanent position for us. There are many ways to change. What do you do on a daily basis to make yourself feel good inside? You're not going to do it by blaming other people or by being a victim. So what is it that you do? How are you experiencing peace within you and around you? If you are not doing it now, are you willing to begin? Are you willing to start creating inner harmony and peace? Another question to ask yourself is, do I really want to change? Do you want to continue to complain about what you don't have in your life? Or do you want to really create a much more wonderful life than you have now? If you are willing to change, you can. If you are willing to do the work involved, then you can change your life for the better. I have no power over you, and I can't do it for you. You have the power, and you need to keep reminding yourself of that. Remember, maintaining inner peace will help us connect with like-minded, peaceful people all over the world. Spirituality connects us all over this planet on a soul level, and the sense of cosmic spirituality that we are just beginning to experience is going to change the world for the better. When I speak of spirituality, I don't necessarily mean religion. Religions tell us who to love and how to love and who is worthy. To me, we are all worthy of love, and we are all lovable. Our spirituality is our direct connection with our higher source, and we don't need a middleman for that. Begin to see that spirituality can connect us all over the planet on a very deep soul level. Several times during the day, you might stop and ask yourself, what kind of people am I connecting with now? Ask yourself periodically, what do I really believe about this condition or situation? And think about it. Ask, what do I feel? Do I really want to do what these people are asking of me? Why am I doing this? Start to examine your thoughts and feelings. Be honest with yourself. Find out what you are thinking and believing. Don't go on automatic pilot living your life by routine. This is the way I am and this is what I do. No, why do you do it? If it isn't a positive, nourishing experience, figure out where it came from. When did you first do it? You know what to do now. Connect to the intelligence within you. Stress is another word for fear. We talk a lot about stress these days. Everybody seems to be stressed out about something. Stress seems to be a buzzword, and we use it to the point where I think it's a cop-out. I'm so stressed out, or this is so stressful, or all this stress, stress, stress. Stress to me is a fearful reaction to life's constant changes. It is an excuse we use for not taking responsibility for our feelings. If we can equate the word stress with the word fear, then we can begin to eliminate the need for fear in our lives. The next time you think about how stressed you are, ask yourself what is scaring you. Ask, how am I overloading or burdening myself? Why am I giving my power away? Find out what you are doing to yourself that is creating this fear within you that keeps you from achieving inner harmony and peace. Stress is not inner harmony. Inner harmony is being at peace within yourself. It's not possible to have stress and inner harmony at the same time. When you're at peace, you do things one at a time. You don't let things get to you. When you feel stressed, breathe and do something to release the fear so you can move through life feeling safe. Don't use the word stress as a cop-out. Don't give a little word like stress a lot of power. Nothing has any power over you. You are always safe. Life is a series of doors closing and opening. We walk from room to room having different experiences. Many of us would like to close some doors on old negative patterns, old blocks, situations that are no longer nourishing or useful to ourselves. Many of us are in the process of opening new doors and finding wonderful new experiences. I think that we come to this planet many, many times, and we come to learn different lessons. It's like coming to school. Before we incarnate at any particular time on the planet, we decide the lesson we are going to learn so that we can evolve spiritually. Once we choose our lesson, we choose all the circumstances and situations that will enable us to learn the lesson, including our parents, sexuality, place of birth, and race. If you've gotten this far in your life, believe me, you've made all the right choices for you. As you go through life, it is essential to remind yourself that you are safe. It is only change. Trust your higher self to lead you and guide you in ways that are best for your spiritual growth. As Joseph Campbell once said, follow your bliss. See yourself opening doors to joy, peace, healing, prosperity, and love. Doors to understanding, compassion, forgiveness, and freedom. Doors to self-worth, self-esteem, and self-love. You are eternal. You will go on forever from experience to experience. Even when you pass through the last doorway on this planet, it is not the end. It is the beginning of another new adventure. Ultimately, you cannot force anyone to change. You can offer them a positive mental atmosphere where they have the possibility to change if they wish. However, you cannot do it for or to other people. Each person is here to work out his or her own lessons, and if you fix it for them, then they will eventually have to do it again, because they haven't learned for themselves. They haven't worked out what they needed to do. Love your sisters and brothers. Allow them to be who they are. Know that the truth is always within them, and they can change at any moment that they want.